I mean, yeah, it's just pretty embarrassing. We took us a whole half to decide to play a little bit, and that's on me. It's on our coaching staff. We got to make sure our guys are ready to play from the first snap to the last snap, and we weren't, and that falls directly on me, and we got to get that right.
I guess after the game, Chad said 50 passes was too many. How much of that was just having to play catch-up, and in retrospect, maybe not enough running ball calls?
Well, in the second half, we were trying to, stay with our game plan. It was still early. We could still feel like we, could still run the ball and be okay. Some of that, too, was, Nick trying to take advantage of what he was getting. I'm not exactly sure the number of times we had a run play called that he threw it, but there were several. So, I think towards the end, I think, we obviously found Mike down the field and a couple other guys open. So they were dropping 8, rushing 3, which made it hard to throw the ball. So we'd have liked to run the ball a little bit better if we could and keep that off Nick. That was entirely too many pass attempts.
He also said about Nick needing to play within the system. Just kind of what do you feel he needed to do that he perhaps didn't as far as whatever, playing within the system?
Yeah, I think he was trying to do too much. I think when we did get down, I think we all, not just Nick, we all pressed. And, when you feel like you're better than a team, you just got to go out and execute, and you got to just stay within the system. And I've got to call better plays, and we've got to execute. And, that's what it's about. So I think just him trying to take advantage of too many things, throwing a couple, when we thought he could have gave it to Rakeem. The biggest one I can think of was, Rakeem runs for 8 yards. We tempo it, and we got a 2nd and 2, and we decided to throw it over there to Coylan, and didn't complete it. Go to 3rd and 2, don't get it, and then we don't get the quarterback sneak. So. Those are the things we got to keep the chains moving, keep the drive alive, and just play within the system, and get it back hot. Let him have it.
Coach, aside from some of the plays that he was forcing, it looked like the ball was sailing on him also a little bit. Is that just sometimes you just have an off day,
yeah.
and how do you talk a quarterback down from because that stuff starts getting in your head too?
Everybody has a bad day. It's hard to explain. I played quarterback. There's a million quarterbacks you talk to will tell you the same thing. It's all about trying to overcome those throws. A week ago, Nick's throwing slants, he's throwing out routes, he's throwing all kinds of things on the money, and obviously he was a little high, the other night, and so we just told him, just trust his protection. I think that was the biggest thing. Trust your protection, keep your base. Try to step into your throws. I think a lot of the high throws were just off his back foot. And so, it's just about finding a way to overcome a bad night and try to maybe take a check down or two, and you saw Nick do that. So, that's going to happen, but you got to, as you grow as a quarterback, you got to learn to overcome those things and still make it happen and go win the football game.
Hey, Joe, what prevented the run game from doing everything you wanted it to do in that game?
Well, there's a lot of different things. If you want to talk short yardage, that was the most, one of the most disappointing parts, that and the turnovers. In the very first one, not only when we called the play, I was like, man, this is not only going to get the first down, this is going to walk in the end zone. And we have a missed assignment. We don't get off to the wheel linebacker, and the wheel linebacker meets us in the hole. And that was the best call, best play we had all week. It looked extremely good. We had a hat for a hat all week in practice, showed them the exact look that they got in the game, and we just didn't get it done. Then you go to the 3rd and 2. Before we had to flip it out on the edge to Devois to get the 4th and short, we got beat inside by number 11. I told you guys number 11 was a good player. Number 11 beats us inside at tight end and makes the play. And if we get that D gap cut off there, it's going to be a good little hole. If not, definitely going to get the first down. If not, get an explosive run out of it. So that was the most disappointing parts about it. And they did a nice job. They had a week off. They prepared for us nicely, and they had some different fronts and different techniques they were playing up front. So I still thought we could have done some things a little bit better, but the most disappointing part of the run game was the short yardage.
I had a couple of things. Obviously Nick and Rakeem played at A&M, know a lot of the guys there. What do you think this game means to them?
I hope like any other game would, honestly. Our whole team should be trying to win every game, no matter who they're playing. No matter if we're playing, a team we've been at before coaching or where we've played or whatnot, it's just, it's all about us. We've always said that, and it's true. It's about Arkansas Razorbacks, and, I would like to think that those guys would look at it the same way as we do.
And then, Nick was pretty broken up after the game when he talked to us and took a lot of responsibility. How do you keep him from not losing confidence? What do you think of his response, and kind of how do you, get him back up, feeling good?
Well, Nick's a confident kid. I mean, I think anybody that's played the sport has had a bad game. We talk about it in football and talk about it in life. You're going to get knocked down. It's all about how you get up. You got to get yourself off the mat. You got to wipe the blood out of your nose, and you got to go back to work. And I think that's what Nick did last night. I was really proud of how he came in and, took, like you said, took some responsibility. I also told him, hey, I wasn't perfect either, man. We all weren't. So, it's a team game, and I think Nick will respond this week.
What's the scouting report on A&M?
Yeah, I mean, where do you want to start? They're giving up 20 points a game. They played the defending national champion. They played, I don't know what Auburn's ranked now in the polls, but, they played them last week. They're giving up 20 points a game. It's pretty good considering the offenses that they've played with the firepower that those guys have. They're only giving up 303 yards of offense a game, rushing only 108 yards and passing 195. So they do a really good job. They have a really good scheme. This defensive coordinator has been around a long time, called defenses for, top whatever defenses in the country for the last couple of years. So, they're going to be a big challenge for us. I think, last year, looking back at our game last year, we got off to a slow start, but once we kind of settled in, we felt like we, did some good things. So, again, it's all about starting fast and finishing strong. That's what we always talk about. And hopefully that's what we'll do this week. But, guys that stand out, to me, number one, they're Mike Backer. He does a phenomenal job, runs well, kind of reminds you of Devin White last year from LSU. And the way that he can run. 52 up front, he's a good player. Remember recruiting him when we were in Dallas. He's a phenomenal player. And they have a lot of length at corner, 6'4" kid, number 10. He puts his arms up in the air, and he's very, very long. You see on film. So number 9 is extremely fast. Reminds you of Earl Thomas back there, how he flies through the alley. They got a lot of good players. Be a good challenge for us. And I think our guys, obviously, we're going to be looking for them to respond this week and wake up early and go play.
Just the offensive line had a real good game against Colorado State, and I don't know how their defense compares to San Jose, but it seemed like the offensive line struggled the other night. What was the difference in those two games from an offensive line standpoint?
Yeah, I think that's something, to ask them. I agree. I think they played pretty well against Colorado State and not so well the other night. And, I don't know what it was. I really don't. I think that's something you'll have to ask them. But we honestly felt like Colorado State's D-line was better than San Jose's, and obviously we didn't go prove that in the game.
Coach, you said you wanted to get off to a fast start. Would maybe not deferring to the second half help you guys out there, get some things going early?
I'll take the ball whenever we can get it. As an offensive coordinator, I'd love to have the ball, but, I'm not the head coach, and the head coach makes that decision, and I love what we're doing. So if coach says we're going to take the ball, I'd be happy to take the ball. If he says we're defer, I'm happy to defer. So whenever we get it, I'll be ready.
Any more questions for Coach Craddock?
All right, thanks, guys.